Welcome back. You're watching Canadian Innovators. Joining me today is Jocelyn Bamford of Automatic Coding Limited, who is also normally the host of this show, but currently working on the development of her new U.S. business location, and she is in the U.S. today as we speak. How much of your decision to establish a new operation in the U.S. was a result of the fact that you do business with the U.S. Navy and probably some other players south of the border as well, and some of the protectionist policies that the Biden administration brought in, such as their so-called Inflation Reduction Act, which has absolutely nothing to do with the reduction of inflation. But anyway, it has to do with a lot of subsidies for an awful lot of U.S.-based businesses. So did you feel even more compelled to situate part of your operations in the U.S. because of that?
Yeah, absolutely. The U.S. Government and the Navy that we do work for, and we have a patent for the work that we do, have been encouraging us to start a footprint in the United States, and we've been resistant for the past 20 years. It's become overwhelming now that we really needed to establish a footprint here in the United States. What's unfortunate is that Canada provides no protection for the manufacturers. They saddle them with taxes, clean fuel standards, carbon tax. They let all kinds of products come in to Canada, not even following their own tariff mandates, overruling their own trade tribunals, and expect us to be able to compete. And it's impossible. It's unfortunate. No one is taking manufacturing seriously. No one has developed a manufacturing strategy. In fact, on all levels of government, from the municipal right to the federal, they seem content on pushing us out. What do I mean by that? Well, look at municipalities banning natural gas. Try running a plant without natural gas so that we have the municipalities. They ask us for all kinds of reports that I think are just make work projects for the bureaucracy. So those are factors that drive us into the open arms of the United States. And I'm telling you, they are nothing but welcoming in the municipality that I'm in down here.
Which is, just so
We're in
everybody...
Suffolk, Virginia.
Suffolk, Virginia.
They embraced us with open arms, I'll tell you.
I've sadly heard the same from all too many business owners over the years. And of course, in Canada, seems to have gotten a lot worse lately under some pretty problematic governments, notably our current federal government and a number of provincial governments too. Something that I've heard quite frequently is our businesses are taken for granted by governments. I've heard politicians and bureaucrats say, "Oh, Canadian businesses, they love to threaten that they're going to leave if we do this or we do that." But what they seem to think is because people have family here, which you still do, they have roots here, that they don't think they're really going to move away. This amazes me, because if you have any knowledge whatsoever about the statistics, that's absolutely not true. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, you still have a facility in Canada, but you're choosing to expand in the U.S. And what a lot of people in the government and elsewhere that are punishing the manufacturing businesses, they don't seem to get that you might stay here. You might in fact just have a rump operation here. I know some of our board members at CCMBC, they maintained a warehouse here with a handful of jobs. But where are they doing their growing? They're doing their growing in the U.S. or sometimes overseas as well. So what would you say to those folks that say, we don't really believe businesses are going to leave? These are just empty threats that they're making.
So I would say they need to start reporting on the businesses that are opening up. And that's easy enough for them to do, but they don't seem to want to know. They seem to want to put blinders on and hope for the best. So if they really wanted to understand how many businesses are opening a footprint in the United States, they should have monthly reports where they're looking at the number of companies that have opened up a new footprint. And then they should be talking to those companies and doing a voice of the customer. Why are they leaving? We're still committed to Canada. We're committed to our employees in Canada, but we're going to be growing into the United States. And we see there's lots of opportunities in the United States to grow. And it also seems that politicians, they have an attitude that businesses are the enemy. Not so in the United States. They embrace job creators. They embrace new jobs. They say, what can we do to help you grow? In Canada, they seem to say, what can we do to hinder your growth? How can we saddle you with with reports and taxes and things to make you not productive and uncompetitive?
Yeah. And what you're saying too, I've heard from, again, many other business owners, they're not wanting to leave Canada. They feel they have to stay in business, which is a darn shame. Anyway, we have to take another break here. Please don't go away. You're watching Canadian Innovators.